Today I'm going to share a story of you which will make you think twice before going for a swim in the Australian sun. But before we get into that, let me introduce myself. My name is Martin. I'm a 25-year-old German who was born in Ukraine, but I'm now living in Australia. I moved here for the same reason that most people take a big leap in their life. It's a step into the unknown, a leaping out of my comfort zone, and ultimately a call to adventure. And let me tell you, I had some wild adventures here in Australia. Now, why would anyone leave the land of beer, pretzels and bratwursts behind to come to Australia? Well, because Australia is scary. My parents, teachers and friends warned me about the deadly bushfires, the dangerous animals and the upside down gravity. Obviously, the upside down gravity didn't really work out that well, but the rest of it was pretty spot on. So I flew over to Melbourne at the beginning of 2020 and my entrance was pretty dramatic. The moment I landed, a thick red blanket of smoke was covering the continent from a bushfire, the largest ones in ages. And I also spotted a fat, chunky rat climb into an airport dumpster. Not exactly the most welcome picture arriving here in Australia. But hey, I was still standing on both of my feet, so I wasn't too worried. Matter of fact is, I was really excited. Over the next few years, I traveled through Australia, soaking in its beauty. There were beaches, forests, cities, deserts, each more beautiful than the last one. And while there were countless beautiful days, there was one day in particular that stood out to me, but not for the reason that you might expect. It happened in the Northern Territory in the dry and crispy desert. I went there with some friends that I met during my travels. Now imagine this. A beautiful picturesque gorge with mountains behind it, split in half by a stream of water that supplies water to the gorge. It was hot, really hot. So we of course wanted to go for a swim. We packed a few cold beers, some lunch, and I brought an inflatable pool donut. As we swam deeper into the gorge, we decided to go upstream and explore the stream that supplies the water. As we swam deeper into the mountains, we noticed something that made our hearts skip. A brown snake was relaxingly sunbathing on the rocks, and we had to pass it to keep going. Now, for those of you who don't know, a brown snake is the #1 most toxic snake in Australia. But at this moment, it didn't really seem to bother us, so we just kept swimming. We kept a respectful distance and passed the snake. We kept going, swimming further upstream, climbing our rocks, making jokes and having a good time. Eventually we came to a steep incline, so steep that we couldn't climb it with our wet feet. So of course we had to return. As we made our way back, we eventually came back to the spot with the snake. But this time the snake was not relaxing anymore. The snake was tense and watched every move we made. But we had to pass the snake to get back home. The first person started swimming past. No problem. The second person started swimming past. Again, no problem. Now it was my turn. I started to swim past. Inch by inch, I made my way, while tightly gripping onto my pool donut. As I was about to reach the other side, the snake snapped. It jumped into the water and headed straight towards me. I panicked and scrambled onto a nearby rock. The snake was closing in fast and just about to strike. As it was about to strike, I took my pool donut and swung it with all my force, knocking back the serpent and causing it to retreat. I just stood there, my heart racing, processing what the hell just happened. And the only thought running through my mind, snakes can swim. But after regaining my consciousness and calming myself down, we all decided that it was time to get back home. So we left the snake, the gorge and the mountains behind us. But the only thing that I took home with me was this near-death experience. And that's the thing about life. It's all about collecting unforgettable experiences. Coming to Australia was unforgettable. Meeting that snake was unforgettable, and now sharing this story with you will also be unforgettable. If you're ever in Australia in the outback, do yourself a favor. Always bring an inflatable pool toy wherever you go. You never know when it might save your life. If you haven't seen my last video about flipping, go and watch it now. See you next time.